I want to welcome everyone out to the Coach's Corner this week. I'm your host, Rick Vossen, and with me is a special guest, Jeannie Quave. Jeannie heads up the Miracle League, right?
Miracle League of the Emerald Coast, right.
Well, good. We're glad to have you. Today we're going to talk a little bit about what the Miracle League's all about and how we came up with the idea and where we're at right now. So, Jeannie, let's talk a little bit about Miracle League.
Well, the Miracle League has been around since about 2000 or so, and the first league was formed in Conyers, Georgia, and it was the Rotary Club there that sort of spearheaded that project, and they've taken off ever since, and I think we have close to about 185 or so in the United States right now.
Good. Now, as the Rotary Club, has this been a project that the Rotary Club is kind of distributed throughout the United States to take a look at and say, hey, this is a good opportunity to sponsor?
Generally it is. A lot of the Rotary Clubs, because of the first one that was built by the Rotary Club in Conyers, Conyers, Georgia, most Rotary Clubs, it's something that they look at very closely. And as far as, it's not always Rotary Clubs, because there is a National Miracle League Association, right. So anybody can actually take part in preparing a field.
Well, I know I mentioned to you that I had seen the Miracle League up in Moody, Alabama,
right.
And I've heard about it coming to town here, and I was kind of excited about it. Tell us about the criteria of the athletes that we'll have at the Miracle League.
Well, again, the Miracle League field generally services children from ages 3 to 19, but there are exceptions that we have when they do register for the teams. And when we first decided we were going to build this, of course, we looked into the needs of the community and discovered, we have several thousand children in the age group there that are needing something to do. So we thought this was the perfect place, and they're special needs children. It's a soft surface, and they could be anybody from Down syndrome to, you name it, epilepsy, children with blindness, deafness, everything.
Now, a wheelchair also?
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
The surface is conducive to walkers and wheelchairs and crutches and just a little bit of everything.
Well, I was surprised. In fact, I sat with a friend of mine who scouts for the Twins and another friend that's got a couple kids that played college, one played pro baseball. But we were talking a little bit about the amount of kids that are in that criteria. I think we mentioned somewhere around 5,000 kids that potentially to draw from for this league.
We did. Before we did the groundbreaking and just even thought about it, of course, the first thing we needed to do was the community assessment,
right.
And the needs of the community. And we were astounded to find out in that age group that children from 3 to 19, really, they're in the county, that there are that many children around our area that we could service.
Well, that's a big niche to fill there, and it'll sure be exciting for them, because I know that at those age limits, we have a lot of family support in that, and what a thrill just to be able to see some of those kids have that opportunity to go out there and play the game that so many other kids just take for granted.
It is, and one of the neatest parts about when we got started, I had the opportunity to actually speak with some of the families of the children with disabilities, and honestly, it is heart-wrenching when you realize that there are children that honestly have never been given the opportunity to do anything outside of their own physical therapy or whatever they normally do on a normal basis, to play any kind of activity or sport or anything. And we're just thrilled to be able to kind of provide this service and opportunity for them, because they're really excited about it.
Well, we're excited for it to come to town. I just want to take a moment to just thank our sponsors that make this Coach's Corner possible, and that's Ogden Sports. All your sporting supplies, baseball, softball, soccer, just a variety of needs here with some tremendous quality of product here. Come out and see us at Ogden Sports, and we're located out on the beach, Back Beach Road, right next to Beefle Brady's. So thank you for making it possible for us, Ogden Sports. Jeannie, who is the mastermind or the vision on this one locally?
Well, ironically enough, Rotary has several levels of clubs that they have. typically a Rotary Club is built with local community leaders and so on, but a lot of people don't realize that we have club levels, certain levels in the colleges called Rotaract, and then also in the high school called Interact. And it was our local Rotaract club about 3 years ago, local president Jenny Hobbs at the time discovered this project and brought it to the attention of the Panama City Beach Club because it was a little bit too big of a project for them to do, and we sort of evolved and took part in that. So they were really the ones instrumental in saying we've got to do this.
Yeah.
So
how much money was needed to raise for it?
Generally, the fields are very expensive, even if you don't have to purchase the land. We were fortunate; we were able to go to the city of Panama City Beach and the city council and ask them to allow us to build the field at the Frank Brown Sporting Complex.
Right.
Because of that, it saved us the money that we normally would have had to save to or raise to buy the land, which you know how land is right now. So the field itself is probably in the end going to run us around $350,000–450,000. The material alone, just for the soft surface, is around $98,000 just for that.
Good gracious. Well, I knew there was quite a bit of expense there. Now, is there much upkeep to the field?
Actually, there's no upkeep at all. The nice part about it is there are two different types of fields. There are the type that we used, which is almost like a tile soft surface piece,
right.
And then there is the roll-on surface. The roll-on surface, if there are ever problems, you have to then replace patches of it or the whole thing. The nice part about the tiles is that even though it's a little bit more expensive, it is almost self-sufficient. You don't have to, there's hardly anything to maintain, and if something ever happened to a tile, you can simply pop one out and put another one in.
Right.
But there should be nothing at all. Have to do is maybe the rainwater will spray it off, and maybe 5 years from now we may repaint the surfaces, but other than that there's no maintenance at all to it.
Good. I had seen the tile one. That is the one that, or the roll-on surface up in Moody. So this one, this is very unique. Where's the product come from? Do you recall?
Oh yes, I do. There are several approved vendors that make this specific type of material that we go through the organization, the actual Miracle League organization, the national organization. And this particular product came from Softscape, is the name of the company, and believe it or not, it's made in Puerto Rico. They came here to visit the site, the people who own the company. They visited the site, they took complete measurements, made the product, shipped it, and it was and came and installed it themselves. It's a fantastic product, and they're a great company.
Good, good. Well, we're excited to see what transpires. We're going to carry over into the next segment and kind of get a little more in depth in a variety of different areas, and then kind of give them a number that you can be contacted with to make sure that we get them all signed up and have enough athletes out there. Again, you're watching Coach's Corner. I'm your host, Rick Vossen, and with me is Jeannie Quave from I got to say it right, the Miracle League of Emerald Coast.
Correct.
Right? Well, how appropriate. And this will be an exciting venture out here at the beach, and it's out at Frank Brown Park, and we're very appreciative to be able to have that as an additional league for the handicap athletes out there. Yes. And we look forward to see how that all transpires. But stay tuned, and we'll follow up, and we'll get a little more in depth.